Hi folks, Tom Barnett here with the Financial Light Insurance Retirement Systems. And I want to talk to you today about your retirement at risk. That's right. Maybe you haven't thought about that. Maybe that hasn't entered your mind, but it is at risk. Before we begin, let me just ask a simple question, because this really talks a lot about whether we can work together or not. So here's the question. Of your retirement money, money that you're counting on, money that you need to have in your future, how much of that are you really willing to risk or lose? Now, if you're like most people, 99% say none. Well, then that brings up a second question. If you're not willing to risk or lose any, why is all of your money then in stocks and mutual funds where every dime of it is at risk? Can you afford that? Have we not been shown, at least in the 2000s, how important it is not to have our money in the market? Remember, all of these financial planners are Wall Street trained. They are not trained to protect your money. Let's show you the difference here on how we put our funds together for our clients and why, since we were first licensed in 1988, we have never lost a penny of any client's money. And it's the difference between putting your money at risk, retirement funds that you're counting on for your future, and money you want to be safe, protected, and constantly growing. And those are in indexed annuities. So let's say that, just for example, we had $100,000 that we could put into the market, into stocks and mutual funds, and $100,000 we could put into an indexed annuity. Well, we do that. And the first year, the market has a positive return, 20%. So both funds increase by 20%. We now have $120,000 in our market fund and in our annuity fund. And the second year, we have the same benefit. Again, another 20% return. So we've gone from happy to elated because we're really in the money now. Things are cooking along exactly as we planned. So now those funds equally have $144,000 in both the market fund and in the annuity fund. But then the third year comes and the market has an adjustment. It goes down 50%. 50% slide, just like it did in 2008, just like it did in 2000, 2001, and 2002. What happens? You had $144,000 inside that account, and now you have what? 50% less? $72,000 is now in your fund. You've lost half of your entire retirement, but you've lost something even more valuable outside of that money, and that's your time. The time and opportunity element that they always leave out of the equation. And that's the time now it takes not just to earn the money back, but to earn the time back in which that money had the opportunity to be there and continually earn. Here's what they do, is they'll present to you and they'll say, Mr. or Mrs. Client, if we lose 10% this year, our goal is to make 20% next year, and that way in your third year you're going to be even. Well, mathematically that looks very appropriate. But they leave out the most important element again, and that's time. When we stick time into that equation, we can look at that now logically and say, wait a second, you're telling me in my third year, you put me back to my first year, and you're calling me even? Aren't I 3 years late? Am I not 3 years behind? How do you make up for that time? And it'll be amazing what you see on those looks. They'll try and come up with some formula. They'll talk about dollar cost averaging, all these things and myths that come out, and just to kind of snow over this entire effect. And the problem is, once the time is gone, it's gone. And how do you buy that time back? Inflation factors, costs, energy, and the opportunity your money had to make money all along that period. So now you're behind. Well, let's look at the annuity. Remember, we had the same growth there, 20% each year. We had $144,000. The market dropped just like in the other market, and 50% loss. So how much money do we have left in the annuity? Well, here's the surprise. An annuity is a protected instrument. It is an insured instrument, and it is guaranteed not to be subject to market losses. So our worst case scenario in our annuity is that we still have $144,000 there. All of our money's still there. Isn't that a great position to be in? Now here's the amazing thing, is all of these annuities that we work with have guaranteed annual earnings from anywhere of 5% up to 8%. That means that every year, even in a down market, when others are suffering losses, you're earning between 5 to 8% because it's guaranteed. Now, many of you are going to say, well, how do they do that? Folks, they do it. They do it every year. They've been doing it for one of the oldest companies out there that does it. They're over 320 years old. They've been doing it longer than the market's been around. They have the system works, and it works consistently. So that's where you need your retirement money. In a position where it's always safe, it's always secured, and every year it goes up. That is a protected retirement account. You're not suffering the losses, you're not suffering the penalties, and you're not suffering that vast problem of how do I capture my time. It's always there, it's always safe, and it's protected. It's where you deserve your retirement to be. I'm Tom Barnett with the Financial Light, Insurance and Retirement Systems. Thank you.